shadows from the darkness.
The Tale of the Last Call. Late one night, during a cold December evening, Stacy had been waiting for an Uber driver on the corner of a street where she resided. This was her only mode of transportation, as Stacy recently had her license suspended due to a DUI. It had been roughly a couple minutes since she ordered it and was sorta in a hurry. Her mother's surprise birthday party was in an hour and on the other side of the city. The night had fallen dreary and an ice-cold chill blew through the night, making it a bit hard for Stacy to stand still. Just up ahead, a red Honda with some paint chipped off had turned on its brights, illuminating the corner in which Stacy stood on. She found it a bit unsettling, like all the focus was on her, but later thought to herself that it was the Uber she had ordered. "That was fast," she announced, scooting herself into the back seat, settling in. The driver looked foreign, possibly Middle Eastern, but given the current state of the country, Stacy was apprehensive to assume he was, just because of his skin color and appearance. He seemed to be in his middle to late 30s, husky with a light tone of facial hair, stubble highlighting his face. The radio was dim, but hard enough on the ears to make it hard to concentrate. "Would you mind terribly turning that down?" Stacy asked, not too rude, squinting her eyes from the irritation. He ignored her at first, then turned the knob to minimize the bearing of the noise. She thanked him afterwards. Again, no response. His silence began to wear on her. She decided to distract herself in order to pass time by playing a game on her iPhone until she arrived at the party. After a few moments had passed, and that feeling of uncertainty crept over Stacy, "I should have arrived at the party by now," she thought to herself. Stacy figured she would check to see how far away she was. She loaded Google Maps on her phone to see. This is when things became a little terrifying for her. The map had said she was 45 minutes away from her destination. A shadow from an overpass cast over the car. That's when Stacy realized they weren't heading in the direction she originally intended. "I think you're going the wrong way," Stacy announced. Again, the driver continued to ignore her. "I said you're going the wrong way," she shouted, this time desperate to get his attention. He looked at Stacy through the reflection of the mirror and gave her a very creepy smile. His teeth, rotted with yellow and brown corrosion, plastered all over. Stacy began to hyperventilate. She tried to remain calm, not to make something out of nothing, but couldn't ignore the obvious signs. She thought maybe he didn't speak English very well, or he wasn't much of a talker. Still, something wasn't quite right, and she knew it. His speed started to pick up a bit. This was unusual. She tried not to freak herself out too much. Stacy knew she needed to have a plan if this was exactly how it seemed. The car began to slow down as it approached the corner street. There was some construction on the road. Police and construction workers stood in the middle of the street to direct traffic. The driver went to lower his window, but instead unlocked the vehicle by accident. Stacy thought fast. She pulled the door handle and hopped out of the car as quick as she could. The driver's eyes shot to his rearview mirror, spying Stacy outside the car, the two of them locking eyes. The look he gave her, with just a hint of confusion, met with ultimate irritation. He sped off as soon as he had a clear path. Stacy's heart was banging. The feeling of relief aroused her, but she couldn't help but realize how odd that entire incident was. Her phone rang. The number on it didn't look familiar to her at first, but she decided to answer it anyways. "Hello?" she asked hesitantly. "Hi, this is Craig from Uber. I'm sorry for the wait. I hit a bit of a snag of traffic, but I should be there in just a few." Stacy felt her knees weaken. The emotional impact proved more than she could handle. Dropping her purse to her feet, holding her hands up to her face to cradle her saddened frown. She wanted to peel her skin off for how dirty and frightened he had made her feel.